Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the very worst yoga you can have in your chart. And I will pretty much guarantee you, if you're watching this video, you probably don't have it, because those that have it are a little bit out of their minds, and they wouldn't be drawn to watching an astrology video because, for the most part, I consider astrology to be a tool for self-betterment, and people with this yoga are not too interested in self-betterment. So what is a yoga? A yoga is combination of planets, period. Yoga means union. So usually it's like when planets are involved with each other or connected to each other in some way. So what this yoga is basically about is the moon in a chart. And you know, I wrote an entire book on the moon in astrology because it is so important. I call it Moon, Mind, and Consciousness, because the moon is your consciousness. It is your mind. It is how you feel about your life. And when the moon is disconnected to planets in a chart, it causes great problems. It does. Because essentially that's the way you feel, disconnected to everyone and everything in your life. You feel unsupported. So there are many moons yogas, and you know, there's a plethora of them. For example, the moon likes to be with other planets. And if you have planets in the second house or sign from the moon, it's called a Sunafa yoga, and it's good for wealth and you know, achieving and receiving things. And if you have planets that are in the 12th house from the moon, it's called an Anafa yoga, and it deals with giving. And it's not necessarily bad. It's like giving and receiving, but giving, generosity. And if you have both of them, you have the Sunafa yoga, a planet second from the moon, you have a planet 12th from the moon, then you have a Duardra yoga, which means giving and receiving. The moon loves to be surrounded by planets. It feels connected. And remember, the moon is your mind, it's your emotions, it's how you feel about your world. And therefore, there's many other moons yogas, such as you get Jupiter in an angle from the moon, it being in the same house as the moon, being in the 4th house, the 7th house, the 10th house. Then you're going to have the Gajakasari yoga, which is not too rare, but it does bring kingship and leadership and great things into life. So you see, it's always where planets are relative to the moon. So after you go through all these different moons yogas, which it's basically, you know, planets being in angles from the moon, planets in some kind of aspect to the moon, the benefics, how they are relative to the moon, such as an Adi yoga will be where the 3 benefics go to the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th house from the moon. So it can be any combination. And so if they're in one's in the 6th, 2 are in the 8th, and one's in the 8th and one's in the 7th. Remember, there's 3 benefics, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. But I'm just trying to give you examples of different combinations that are yogas with the moon. But let's get down to the worst one. If you have none of these moons yogas, and there's a few of them, and I named the biggies, yeah. And you have no planet aspecting the moon. And the aspects in Vedic astrology are very easy and specific, because there's not that many of the Vedic 100% in power aspects. And believe it or not, malefics aspecting the moon constitute a moon's yogas, and you will not have this horrific yoga if the planet just aspects the moon. Let's say you have Saturn conjunct the moon. Hey, you don't have this yoga. And I haven't even gotten to what the yoga is. But if you have Mars conjunct the moon. Hey, that's a Chandramangala yoga. You're going to be fine. You don't have this yoga. So it doesn't even matter if it's a malefic. Although I will say this, Rahu and Ketu do not count as planets, okay? They can disturb the moon for sure. So if Rahu and Ketu conjunct the moon, if you have Rahu conjunct the moon, that means Ketu's opposite it, and that will cause relationship problems and issues. If you have Ketu conjunct the moon, then that means you have Rahu 7th from it, and that means relationship problems and issues you have to overcome. It's not like it's going to plague your life with terrible things, but you do have some problems to overcome with relationships. Another planet that doesn't count in any of the yogas is the sun. Because if you have the moon conjunct the sun, then you're born under a new moon. This is a lunation. It's not a yoga. And so basically the yogas deal with the 5 planets. The outer planets don't count either. So we're dealing with Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They have to be aspecting the moon to avoid this horrific yoga. So if you have Saturn, Saturn's aspects are 3 placements and 10 placements from where it is. So if the moon is 3 placements or 10 placements from Saturn, you're not going to have that yoga. Jupiter's special aspects are 5 places and 9 placements. So if the moon sits in 5 placements from Jupiter, or Jupiter's 5 placements from the moon, then you're fine. Likewise 9. If the moon and Jupiter are 9 placements from each other, then the other. If the moon goes 5 placements from Jupiter, then Jupiter will be 9 placements from the moon. You've got that aspect covered. So what's the other one? Mars is 4 placements and 8 placements from where it is. So if the moon sits 4 placements or 8 placements from Mars, you don't have this yoga. And oppositions, of course, any of those planets oppose the moon, you don't have this yoga. So what am I talking about? What is this horrific yoga? It is when no planets aspect the moon and you have no moon's yogas. Kemaduma. Kemaduma means that the moon is totally disconnected from all of the planets in a chart. There's no moon's yogas, there's no aspects from the 5 planets. And what it technically means is the mind feels unsupported, it feels no connection to other people. You feel alone. You might grow up in a house full of people and siblings and be married, but you still feel unsupported and alone. Never do you feel like people have supported you or helped you sincerely throughout your life. You don't feel loved. And you know what that does. People that don't feel loved, they search for love in all the wrong places. They really, really, really do. I'm going to show you a chart of somebody that has a Kemaduma moon. It is absolutely not disconnected from any planet in the chart, and it is O.J. Simpson. If you will look to where his moon sits, in the 8th house, it has no aspects and no planets surround it, 2nd or 12th from the moon. Totally disconnected. This is it. And another thing I do want to point out is whenever you see a moon in a chart sitting all by itself, away from all the other planets, even though probably there's some moon yogas or there's oppositions to the moon, this is what I call an isolated moon. It's not Kemaduma, but it's isolated. And these individuals, and of course, O.J. Simpson's moon is totally isolated, but it's also a Kemaduma moon because there are no planets aspecting it. So if you have an isolated moon, that's how you feel, isolated. You don't feel like you fit in. You don't feel like you're connected to people. You feel unsupported. But the Kemaduma moon is where the mind is pretty much, it's not good. The mind, there can be mental illness, truly. And every once in a while, I'll come across somebody that has it that really it isn't crazy or anything like that, but I guarantee you emotionally they've felt isolated and their life's difficult. And of course, I always believe that people can change, and through the recognition of the difficulties in their chart, they can realize they have to work on themselves and change themselves. So, but I wanted you to understand what is the worst yoga of all that you could have in your chart, and it is a Kemaduma Yoga. So with that, I think I'll close. If you want to learn more about me, go to my website, galacticcenter.org. And if you want your chart done, and you want to know everything about what's going to be happening to you in the future, you want my Galactic Planner. Go to galacticplanner.com. And if you want to become my student and really learn all of this, go to my university website. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com and become my student. Thank you.